Hello everyone, this is Michael Mechanical with a hot vlog, you could call it, okay? And today I've gotten delivered this in the mail. I'm still waiting on another parcel, and this is what came. And I'm pretty happy with what I see. I did my homework before I went and ordered online, especially on eBay. And this one's meant to replace this one. I put this stuff here because I'm going to show my dad what I got. The difference is this one sort of looks slightly off the hole drilled center distance. It looks a little bit different to mine, and I can't stand these up properly, but here's this one's hole center distance, where this one is a little bit off. And that's just by naked eye, so I guess he can see when he comes home. I'll take these back outside, these dirty things, receipt, documentation, and you know, the box and stuff, and take it outside. But it's nice to finally start getting stuff. I now need to take the engine when I can get my car. I'm waiting for the turbo, because once I've done the turbo, I'm not taking a chance on the new one. The new one cost enough as it is. I'm not putting a new one on an engine that's breathing oil through all the orifices that it can get through, including this. So I'm going to save that for later. I'm going to put it to the side. It is now available to my vehicle, but I'm not going to use it. So when I say I'm not going to use it, I mean this isn't going on the car. What's going on the car in its current engine state is this one here. Because while it's leaking oil like it is, I mean you can see the oil in the bag, and I don't really want that in. This is disgusting to have to touch. And it won't come out of the bag without a fight. So, while this is leaking oil out of every orifice it can, I'm going to put this back on the car. This one's only a little bit worn out, not by much. And there we go. You can see all the oil on the top. That's just from coming out of the head. Now, if I put the new one on the car, guess what's going to happen? The exact same thing. It will do damage to the internal componentry. I'm not taking the chance. I'm just not going to take the chance. It's been leaking out the bottom. It's coming out everywhere. This is going to go back on the Triton MJ, this car. And we'll use this until the engine is replaced. If I end up using this turbocharger, if it's balanced and rebuilt, whatnot, and done right, I will use this. Otherwise, it'll end up probably being a spare when I get the new turbocharger. So I can't really take chances on the turbo, unfortunately, but have to see how things go. And I can't leave home, as I told my mum. Can't go anywhere until I get the last parts I'm expecting today, which is not that. That's just 1 or 2 parcels I'm expecting potentially today, tomorrow, and someone has to stay home. Get out of here! And so on and so forth. So I'm going to end up putting the turbo, and take that turbo off, rebuild it, put it back on here, get this driving with the new injectors. If I stuff up the new injectors, it's not as much to replace, rebuild, whatever. And if they just fill up with junk, then the good news is I've got a manual for injectors only, no injector pump manual to give you any guidance on injector calibration or pump calibration or anything, because that requires sophisticated equipment. And also, I don't believe Mitsubishi do manufacture their own injector pumps. Now, when this does go back on the road again, this valve is going to be, this piece is going to be taken out, and the original valve is going to go back in there. We're not going to take a chance on that. And when we have a new turbo, the new turbo will get the solid cap. That way we can take the old plunger type piece with the spring in it, and the seal, the seat, the cup, and everything. Take that out, and take it apart, and measure up everything, and make new ones, a couple of new ones. My dad told me the threading is going to be a difficult thing because it's tapered thread, so it's not like, oh, square, it's sort of like not parallel to the piece of material. Don't mind me, I feel like I'm going to sneeze. No, bless me. At least there's tissues here. I'm glad I didn't go out in the car with Mum. You sneeze, people think the worst. Good news is it's not the worst. We haven't really left home for many, many days now because of work. Head gaskets are a pain. So if I can get this on the road again and drive it, I can pick up my engine, take it down to the engine shop, and get that head sorted out once again. So I'm gonna, I haven't really uploaded the video. I made a video. I made so many videos and yet I haven't been even editing them or uploading them. It's just so much easier to do these hot vlogs. Show where we're at. So where I'm at with my engine is, here it is. I've actually pulled the guts out of it again because I'm not taking chances. This is probably going to go on a grindstone machine in which they'll have oil and water flying through into the block. So as you can probably see here, it's really polished. That's actually the low spots in the block of 0.003 thousandths of an inch. And then here is your line marks from trying to level it and trying to do it with sandpaper. I don't want to do it with sandpaper again. I would rather pick this whole engine up, put it on the back of the ute, take it somewhere, and get someone else to do the job properly rather than me trying to do the job properly. I'll be honest, I'm not really strong enough to carry that on my own. I can carry it on my own, but my body, I don't think, has the tolerance to do it without risk of injury. So I've got another thing I'm going to take out, because I didn't really realise they're still in the block loose. That one has to be done up, because that one's in the block, it looks like it's loose, and that's not good. So I'm going to tighten up all the bolts I can, make sure everything's in right. But, yeah, so they're going to come out. Put these somewhere, I'll put them there for now. I only say for now because I'm not going to do much of them at the moment. Now, just in case anyone's wondering, there is a couple of things. One, why don't I go back to the original engine room conditioner who decked the block? So that was $80 to deck the block. I don't know if it was the right RA. And the other thing is, he didn't really do a good job of cleaning the block. If I take it back to him now, he's going to be annoyed and mad at me. I don't want anyone getting mad at me, because the reason is it wasn't entirely my fault. It was partially my fault. I had to clean out the block properly again because of what I found inside. And what I found was inside of the block was all the rust and stuff, and I've got that on video, and that wasn't good. And if I go back to him and say there's rust in it, he's going to get mad at me, and we're going to have an argument, I reckon, and a fight. And I don't want the conflict, so I'm going to go elsewhere to get it sorted. And the second thing was, why don't we machine it ourselves? We've got a mill. But what you don't see is there's two factors with this. One, I could put this on the mill, but there's only one way it can be positioned, and that's where the cylinder head gets surfaced across the top of the machine, whereas the other way we can't do because there's not enough, the bench isn't wide enough, well, long enough, depth in it. It doesn't have the depth that I can get the block on here and, surface it with that cutter here, this big mother, because it's unfortunate that I couldn't do it myself. I wish I could do it myself, but unfortunately this machine is not set up for it. That is where this comes in. If this was rebuilt, if this was mounted on this machine, and let's just say the engineering behind it is correct and this thing doesn't go blah, 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 while it's cutting, then we'd have a good chance of using that to cut. I don't think that it'd be a good idea to use that on this little machine because you don't really have much to really put it on here. Dad wants to put it on here, just mount it on there with maybe a lock nut or something like they've done here for this arbor to lock it in place. I don't think we're going to be able to do that because the arbor is designed to support one cutting tool that is, it protrudes out here, and then this arbor bolts to the table with like an X-frame sort of thing. The X-frame is hiding over here somewhere, I believe. unless it's not hiding over there. Oh, there it is. So you see the two bars on the ground there? You can sort of see them. But I can see them in the back there. So there's those slots, the slotty things. It mounts onto here, and then the X sections cross over into this somewhere. It bolts on here somewhere. I can't remember where. I think it actually bolts onto the table down here, because this is stationary or balanced to this some weird way. I don't remember how it's done, but it bolts onto there. It adjusts with the slot. I would guess it goes actually to this slot here, and that's where it sits in. And that stops the tool from vibrating, potentially breaking, when you're cutting gears to get them dead straight and get them right. Without that, because your bar extends out the tool like this far. We do have the Mamba, and I've had the other out before. I can't open the cupboard because it's locked, but it's cutting tools. The one we have on there, the cutter, is a straight sort of cut. It's not designed for cutting gears. I believe it's like a surfacing sort of tool. And if you think about putting an engine on here, what's the problem? Why can't we cut it on here? This machine's only going to cut things about this height, and that's about really all you can really get out of it. This machine cannot do everything. It can do a lot of things, but it's mostly designed to cut gears and do some machining work. It can't do everything, unfortunately. If you had a vertical mill head on here, it has the tolerances between the bottom of the chuck, the tool that's added, and then from the tool down is your depth of work you can have in there to machine with. And you really want a little tiny bit of clearance, at least, 5mm clearance when the tool's in, that you can mount your work, have your work to the side, and then feed it in, and then cut and do all your adjustments you have to do. With the block on here, it's about this height, and that's the problem. You can't put a tool on here to cut with, because the tool sits here before you even have a cutter in there. It's too big. It's more or less designed, that drill head, that special tool head for this is only really designed for doing drilling sideways or drilling into small things like this height. That's the maximum height you can get out of it. So it's for drilling plates and stuff. It's no different to having a drill press like this. Now this, if you could have something like this and have the head spin independent of the plate, and the plate was just a solid bench that could go up and down, or this could go up and down, then you have a chance of potentially putting a grinding stone or something on here and then swinging it around. That's a machine you can actually get. However, the smaller the diameter, the less nicer the cut's going to be. But if you increase the diameter of the tool, like the reach, the extent, you have to make it stronger for how far the tool extends out, so that's less vibrations that, off-cut like weird shapes into it, so it's smooth finish. And then the tool, when it's spinning cutting, it will always cut nice and neatly instead of going blah, 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 trying to jump over all those bumps it's cutting. So if we had a tool like that, it could do the job, but we don't have a tool like that. And this tool here, huge, awesome, can't do the job. It's not set up to do it. If we had another mill, a bigger mill that is a vertical head specifically, but if it was a horizontal and vertical, that's a bigger bonus. This machine would essentially be made redundant. Then we have a chance of doing so many jobs on the machine. You can buy machines that are both in one, and they are extremely awesome. So I'm going to leave it at that. My engine needs to go to the machine shop. I need to put a good engine in this car. I need it to be reliable, I need it to last, and I'm just hoping this all is going to pan out and pay off in the short to long term, and I'm hoping I can save up some money. Unfortunately, I haven't been getting work recently, so, well, I'm going to have to rely on my budget that I have, and the money that I've got left I have to make the last 2 weeks. It's not going to last 2 weeks if I have to get that machined, and I have to get this on the road and do all this work and then spend money on anything to do with spending money right now. I only get paid every fortnight because of the Australian government's thing. I don't have the same as everyone else. I have the standard thing that I had before. I got a bonus. The bonus helped me do this, like the start and finish as much as I could. I would have eventually gotten there, but unfortunately I'm behind by a lot, unfortunately. It's sad, but true. I can't do much more at the moment. So at the moment, what I want to do, make this reliable, finish that engine off, and then my next worry and concern with the car will be the transmission. But I do believe mine's going to hold up. I just need to service it when I put the new engine in. I would like to repair the odometer I've got in the house, put the odometer that's old back in with the correct mileage on it and the kilometers, and then drive it as it is, set the servicing history up for it so it knows when to be serviced, and go from there. Thank you all for watching, thank you all for joining in, thank you for support. Just in case anyone's interested in the gardening segments of things, we still have 8 of these plants. I haven't actually seen any more new ones, so there's 4, 3, and 1 of those, and we have a butternut coming up. If we're lucky, we might get more butternuts. Kale, bok choy, dill, fennel. Then we have parsley apparently in the onion pots, which onions aren't coming up. We have no lettuce coming up. We have no fennel seed thingies coming up here, don't know why. We have some spinach coming up, not many. And then we have lots and lots of carrots coming up. So there's a lot of things we're having growing. And what we're going to try and do, no chancing it on the one butternut pumpkin. We're going to take a couple of these and try to grow them in the grow bed up there. And see if we can get some a huge yield out of 1 or 2 plants and see if they can survive in there and do really, really well. So thank you all for watching. Michael Mechanical, out.